You're the Robin Hood. So here we are with Robin Hood. Welcome to the stream, everybody. With me again, as always, my faithful minion, Pat Olson. Say hi, Pat.
Hello.
And the gentleman.
Hello
Uh,
guys,
d-
how are you?
and the gentleman, he's a bug bounty hunter and a security researcher, and you live and work in Jordan.
Yes, in the Middle East.
Yes. So, maybe you could introduce yourself just a little bit shortly, like your background and who you are, so we get to know you a little bit.
So my name is Majd, M-A-J-D. I've been working in security or cyber security in general for the last 5 years. I come with 10 years of experience in mainly in networks and communication, voice over IP. Uh, in the last 5 years, when it comes to cybersecurity, I've been working on multiple places, mainly penetration testing, SOC building, SOC management, and security architect. And in addition to that, I'm a bug bounty hunter.
So you currently also have like a day job. You don't do bug bounty full time.
I do it full time in the periods when I'm shifting, like from one job to another or from one company to another. But I still cannot take the risk of having bug bounty as a full time. You still need to have another source of income.
That's
Yep.
really smart.
Also the experience, because what most people miss, I see like this trend lately. Like some people they don't want to go to college. Some people they don't want to go to the university, and they don't want to go to work. And most of us know that money is evil. Like when you are getting money, you feel like, why should I do this? And I thank Stock for pointing this on Twitter maybe last 2 weeks. People who's doing bug bounty hunting full time, they come with a vast experience, like maybe 10 years or 12 years, or maybe less than that. What you get in job is helping you in your bug bounty. Without my career, I don't think I will be a successful bug bounty hunter, because you get to engage with a lot of products, a lot of technologies. This is building up. This is an added value. Career is very important for any person, even an experienced one, unless you reach a level that you are sure that you can make an income from the bug bounty that can cover your expenses and your dreams or your investments. You can do that, but that's not easy. Like, don't look at people and compare yourself to these people.
Yeah. A lot of people that are new to the scene kind of think that they can do it, and then some apparently quit their jobs and in search for bounties, and it's not always that easy. So don't quit your day jobs just yet.
I usually
Exactly.
compare it to like football. Not everyone can be like the top player. So it's always good to have like some kind of real work, and but you can still, of course, enjoy and play football on your spare time.
Yeah. We already have a question in the chat. Any tips for beginners?
Any tips for beginners? Like, it depends on those beginners. Like, if you are someone who's to I don't want to repeat my things again. If you are still in university, like, get the value of these things that you are getting in the university. If you are starting working in work, like, you get the access to some tools that are costing, yeah, like, if you are working for a bank or for a company, they are paying thousands for those tools. You are having the privilege to work on those, to test those. The
Mhm.
tip for beginners is spend some time reading, practicing. Just don't make the money your passion. Like, money will come at the end of the day, if it's from your career or if it's from bug bounty. But let's say any person like going to war, he will shape. He has to know how to use his sword, how to fight. Anyone can get a sword, but not every person can fight. So you need to have the basics. Bug bounty is not hard. I know some people like try to make it complex for people. It's not hard, but like everything in life, you have to have the basics. Spend some time on like building yourself, building your skills, then make this the next step. No one can go to the bug bounty like directly without having the baselines. Like everything in life, it's not
So
something different.
I think this is kind of like a nice bridge to when you got started in bug bounty. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that when you
I
got started in
I
bug
believe
bounty.
I believe my story can relate to a lot of these new bug bounty hunters and can be a question. Like I started bug bounty hunting in 2017, which is 3 years ago. At that period, like I had a 6 years of experience in networks, in system administrations, in business in general regarding of what company you are working for. I didn't had any clue about security. I didn't know security at all because this is how my career was. Networks, voice, you are committed to your career. When I started Bug Bounty, even though I have the experience in networks and some basic HTML, JavaScript stuff, and some systems, for me it was something new. That's with someone with 5 or 6 years experience. I'm not a fresh guy. Security, it was something, a new topic for me. I only knew about security, and this is like maybe the first time I say it. I only knew about security about antivirus. This is the only thing related to security that I knew during my career. But and this is not something also related to bug bounty. My shifting in my career from networks and voice and communication to security was based on a request from my CIO in the bank, our CIO. It was the trend of these compliance stuff, PCI DSS, COBIT compliance. He gave me a task. I want you to follow up with the QSA, the auditor who is doing this thing, but you have to know something about security in order for you to communicate with him and to challenge him in the risks and this stuff. This is acceptable, this is not acceptable. So I had to invest in myself. The bank invested, they paid for my training in the CH, which is considered a baseline for security. Basics, it will make you understand security. I had to do my own homework, trying to understand more, trying to the open sources and on YouTube only, you can find a lot of resources to learn. These things help me to shift up my career, to understand basics of security, to challenge this auditor. And you guys, you know how auditors
Oh
are
yeah.
an asset technically, like they are trying to find any weakness you have. So when you have the power, the skills, you can challenge, you can know. At that time, like I realized that security is something good because I have the baseline. Security, it's like the top of the pyramid, you know. If you are knowing the networks, systems, technologies, security is on the top. It complements that. It's an added value for any place you visit. I realized, okay, I will have to leave the technical stuff working in my hands to go to a consultation roles or to stuff where I can give my experience when it comes to security. And that helps. During that period, I had the baselines for security. I'm not talking about BERB. I'm not talking about web applications. I'm not talking about bug bounty, but at least I know how to assess for vulnerabilities, how to understand the risks on any company I'm working for. Later on, it's just while you are browsing internet or something, you start hearing about bug bounty. CH gives you some basics about hacking. You have the curiosity, and I've always said it like hacking is about curiosity. Like, okay, what if I do this? What if I do that?
Yeah.
Simple as that. Even
So
the
we have
top bug bounty hunter, like, what if I do this? What if I do that? They are just thinking out of the box. And that's where my journey started in the bug bounty hunting. That was the line that it was just a random news or something. Someone got paid As I remember, it was someone got paid $10,000 on Uber.
Mm.
When I tried to open the link, it was hacker one and this stuff.
Yeah.
We have some questions in the chat also. So the first question is, how do you keep yourself motivated when you go for a longer period without any bounties? I guess you already answered that one. Your experience and investing time in yourself and your
And
skills
target and setting
is
a
part of it.
target
Yeah,
for yourself. Yes, like
exactly.
I have
So
sometimes like maybe you are not finding bugs because you cannot find. Maybe you are busy. Maybe you
mhm,
are spending some family time. Maybe you are going to traveling. It happens maybe a 1 month I don't find a bug, but you set to yourself a target. The target depends on who you are, what your expenses, what factor that bug bounty have in your life. I believe every person should have a reasonable target for himself in order not to be sad or disappointed that he didn't find anything. It happens. I like maybe I find 2 months I don't find anything, but I'm okay. I'm happy because I have a target for myself and I invested myself earlier, so I know my limits.
Do you also have sort of smaller achievable sort of targets? So you don't have like a big goal somewhere, but you have small achievable targets, one bug per
each.
week or
Yep,
something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, you can say that, but we can generalize that. Like, I consider myself till today as a new bug bounty hunter because you have to every day you have Twitter is something, it's addiction, you know. Everything there is a new article, there is a new blog post, there is a new technique. So whatever you read, like you feel yourself like, okay, this guy is better than me. This guy is doing something massive. So if you consider yourself like a fresh guy, don't have this ego or okay, I can make money like in a click. Some people are doing that trend on Twitter. Okay, I made 100,000 in 1 day. This is impacting others. Like they think this is easy. No, I have a target for myself. Okay, if I find a bug each week that can pays me this amount of money that can covers my expenses, I'm fine with that. When you have a small target like this, you might end up finding maybe not one bug in a week. Maybe you will find 4 bugs,
What you
and
don't see
it
on
will pay
Twitter
you more.
either, you don't really see the whole picture either on Twitter. So, for example, let's say someone wrote, "Oh, I just got $10,000 for this bug," but they don't say how much time they spent on this. They could have spent months on this.
Yeah.
Actually, like some people are blaming those guys, and they start
Exactly. Yeah.
like replying them on the tweets. At the end of the day, it's a freedom, you know. You are allowed to say or tweet whatever you want. You are not forced to tell people what did you find and how did you find it and how long did it take for you to find this thing. And it's a marketing thing also.
Mhm,
Like I did this. Sometimes it's a show off. Okay,
mhm,
I want to do a show off. Okay, I found a bug and got paid 10,000. But these people, even if they don't say why or what they found, at the offline, you know that they spent some time. Like
mhm.
there is no one finding a bug with 10,000 or 15,000 like in a matter of minutes, unless he's a lucky person, unless it's a GitHub thing, which is something that I used to do. But this is what, for us, I understand that, you understand it. Some new people, they don't understand. They feel like, okay, this is something easy. It's like trading. It's like, but you cannot force anyone to say, but I appreciate when someone says, you don't have to make a blog, by the way, or do a full blog post for that. Just say, like, I got $10,000 for finding an IDOR or finding a stored XSS on somewhere. This is make more value for your tweet and for the people who are seeing it.
Yeah.
Another
Uh,
question from the
yeah,
chat here.
rarely. Every time like I get a bounty, like I generally maybe 90% of the time I say how I found this or how why I got this bounty.
So yes, there
So
was another question on the chat, and the question is: do you think that the bug bounty has become harder during the last 3 years or the years that you have been doing it?
I believe so, yes, because maybe three times when I started in 2017. Mm, by the way, I said that maybe in another stream with Ben. Like, I was even when I saw this upper thing and this bug bounty thing, I didn't care about it until I found a bug in Facebook, and they
Mhm.
got paid through Bug Crowd. At that time, I didn't know about Bug Crowd. My first invite was Visma, and I'm not shy to say that Visma, like, it was my training place for me. Like, I learned how to use Burp on Visma. I learned how to look in bugs in Visma. I learned how to understand the false positives from Burp and this is right, this is wrong. Also from Visma. This was my first private invite. So it helped me a lot to carry on. And you guys also, like, you were responding in a very polite way. You didn't, you actually encouraged me to, okay, if you send more, we will be happy. This is the feeling you are looking for. Like when you are sending something to the company and the company appreciate it, or the
Mhm.
program manager appreciate it, even if it gets paid $50 or $100, at that period of time, money didn't mean anything for me. It's just like I'm doing something good. People are thanking me and they are actually awarding me. Later on, you are getting engaged with other programs. Bug Bounty wasn't that popular, you know? Only even when you go to the blogs, or no one was doing streams. Like, let's say 2020 or 2019, let's say, when Ben started,
Mhm.
no one was doing streams. It was maybe four, I can name them, like maybe 5 or 6 people that will be a reference for you as a blogs. Now, okay, people, they are having a lot of resources. People are investing in themselves. Even companies are getting companies, they already have an employees that are a bug bounty hunters, so they are helping their own company to secure themselves internally. So now it's harder than maybe 3 years ago to find a bug. Still you will find a bug, but this thing is became more harder and became more popular, you know. A lot of people are doing that now for living, not as a hobby or a second source of income. Some people are doing that as a main job now. That
Yeah,
wasn't like
but
years.
like we said earlier, you shouldn't jump into that, doing it as a main job. What I remember from those times is also actually your handle, the gentleman, kind of like I was like, okay, well, this guy is a gentleman, so I definitely have to be a gentleman back to him, you know. And and we started talking. I remember that, and yeah, it
I
was,
don't think,
you
I
know, I
think you do the same to others, by the way, not for me. Like, you are a polite person and you listen to other
yeah,
research. You were I was contacting you on Twitter.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
everybody will respond. Like, you will get a lot of messages on Twitter, but you are responding like always, and that helped. That helped you, like, encouraging me to dig more in your applications, and
yeah,
also encouraged me to invest more time in developing myself and finding bugs. You had a very impact for me. Like, I maybe said that once. It was tweeted by HackerOne, and it was mentioned. You guys at the first stage of bug bounty, you were the reason for me to put my kid in a very good school.
yeah,
Mm, I I always feel like people should appreciate. Like, I do appreciate people who help me. Like, I will thank Bug Crowd for for the end of my life. I will thank HackerOne for the end of my life. You guys also, and some other programs, because at that time the $100 and the $500 and the $600, matching those together, helped me to cover a lot of expenses that technically I couldn't handle with my own salary or my own career. So that's why I have a respect for you guys. In specific, you are my first private invite in HackerOne. You were
yeah,
very polite. You encouraged me, and you helped me to, not me personally. I didn't invest in myself, but at least I was able to cover my kid expenses. That means a lot, you know. Not a lot of people thanks, but I have to thank people who supported me, regardless if it's a program, if it's a researcher, if it's someone, anyone who gives you information, you should thank him.
I remember it was a pretty heartwarming story as well, and it was, someone coming from Nordic countries. It's kind of like it shooks you because you don't understand that uh, these amounts of money can have such a huge impact on someone's life. So something that is kind of mundane or feels like not much for us can actually have a massive impact. So that was really heartwarming for myself as well. I had tingles in my heart and I was super happy about that. So that's why I also wanted to share it. Uh, but
Yeah, maybe the one who want to do anything in Finland, but maybe in India or in another countries, it will make a difference.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Uh, so we kind of covered your start of bug bounties and stuff like that. But what I'm really also interested in is, since you're now kind of a hacker and a security researcher, what were you like as a kid growing up? Did you fiddle with computers? Did you do some strange things? Were you super curious already as a child, or did it come later on in life?
Know that like your childhood has to have an impact on your future. I can't say like insecurity in specific, but I had this curiosity, and I was born in 1986, so I'm from those generations who used the floppy disk and the bigger floppy disk. We used to call
Oh
it B
yeah,
drive. B drive in my
yeah,
computer it was B drive, and the A drive was the smaller disk. So I used computers when I was like 10 years old, and my rest in peace father, like when he brought the computer, it was very expensive at that time, at that period, very very expensive for someone to have a computer.
yeah.
But to be honest, I didn't have interest in computers. I was more into communications. I remember when I was a teenager, most of my time was in satellites,
Mm.
receivers, uh, encryptions. I don't know if you already had or already have these technologies currently in Finland, but we used to have these receivers, satellite receivers, where you
Yeah,
have to put some card in
Hmm.
yeah,
order to watch some encrypted channels
Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
and pay for that.
Exactly.
yeah.
So for us, okay, I'm not gonna pay anything. I need to see this. So it was a trend at that time. I had this love for satellites, for receivers. I reached a level where I can install a full dish on your house and connected it to the receiver. And the let's say the hackers ideas started at that point when I started to make my own servers to do the decryption for these companies and paying this as a service for the customer. Okay, you don't have to pay $100 for this company to watch a football game. Okay, pay me 200, pay me 20, not 100, pay me 20, and I will give you the same. And
Oh,
it
that's
was a very,
awesome.
very interesting thing. This technology in specific, like the satellite and the communications, at that time we also had these cards, a card that you can put in your computer, similar to the voice card and the screen card. You put this card and you connect the cable from your LMB, the receiver, to that computer, and you can bypass that to use a satellite internet.
Ah,
So yeah, so at that period, like, okay, you bypassed your ISPs in the countries. You don't pay for the ISP, the internet service provider. You are using a satellite internet. But also that made me a lot of problems in the, let's say, the not the police, the higher
Secret
level.
Service.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's considered like espionage.
oh yeah,
Some, yeah, because They don't have an IP for you. They are monitoring the they are monitoring everything in the country. So they are seeing some weird signals people are sending and receiving from some place, some city. So at that time, because I was 14 or 15 years old, they didn't have these conspiracy theories and he's a spy and he's doing this and that. They just thought it's curiosity. He's a kid. He's trying something. It was danger, but this is like where I was focusing. It wasn't about computer security. It was about voice over IP, communications in general.
Yeah, but I think that's really, I mean, that's going back to the roots. Like that's hacking, really. I mean, that is hacking. So, I remember like reading stories about phone freaks and all that stuff. So, I also knew a guy who used to do this type of activities, and yeah, it's definitely hacking. So,
If I was 18, I will go to prison at that
yeah,
time for what I
yeah,
did because even this I believe you know the technology like when you are doing this satellite thing you have what we call LMB. It's something that receives the signal. So what they are selling in the market is only a receiver.
Mhm.
yeah,
You get a new device which a sender and receiver. This is like getting smuggled from your borders. You are not allowed to have a sender and receiver. You are only allowed to have a receiver.
Yep.
So I had it installed, a sender and receiver. So that was like for these security services in our country. Like this is very weird. Like how he's doing that.
But that is also something that we in Visma try to do also, at least used to do before Corona. So we were out talking to schools and universities because there's a lot of smart kids out there that does similar things today, and we don't want them to go to prison. So that's why we are out and talk to them and actually try to hire them if we find some good ones. So
yeah.
Now
And
it's different. This
we
was in the
also
90s.
tell them to make sure that they have a permission to hack. And
mhm.
normally we just tell them if you don't find anything, just hack us.
I don't remember how old were these two Norwegian guys
I don't
that
know,
reported
like
some issues.
they were teenagers.
Yeah, they were teenagers, and they found some issues, and we were very happy. And it came out like in Norwegian newspapers, front sides, and things like that. But we handled it very good, so we thanked them and invited them to the company and offered free courses so they could learn even more and like burp license and things like that. Small things for us, but they really appreciated it.
Yeah,
Now it's different than the 90s. Like we are old school, you know. Like
Mhm.
I believe you guys maybe know Doggy G. Like he's
yeah,
a very popular bounty hunter. He used to be a black hat. At our time, there was no like rules. There we didn't know what cybersecurity means. We didn't know what hacking. We just understand that okay, if we can do this, we will say okay, I did that. It was about only about defacing, about I don't think like we wanted to damage stuff, but you feel happy like, okay, I am doing this to this service provider. They are not good to me. We didn't have laws at that time. So it was an open area for everybody. Like I remember we had a lot of old systems and Trojans and malwares. You can build the malware and send it to someone. It was
yeah.
only about like chat rooms and
I
getting
did that
control
kind
of
of stuff too. Yeah. uh,
laws. There was no laws, so you had no fear. Like
yeah,
me personally, like when I was doing this, okay, who's gonna catch me? Who's monitoring me? No one. So
yeah.
let me do that. Now it's different.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of questions in the chat. Maybe where do we? Well, when it is here's a question about subdomain. No, when it well, okay, I'll just read it. When it is in main domains, we go after the functionalities. But what should a bug hunter focus when looking at subdomains and when seeing like 403s and 404 errors? I'm not
Now
sure.
for now, if we are talking specifically about 403 or 404, it's different than others. But when it this is something that I like. When it's 403, it's officially telling you this is forbidden. Forbidden must like trigger something like, okay, they are hiding something. There is something that I shouldn't see. So if I'm doing a basic directory search or basic file and folders brute forcing for that subdomain, when I find a place that it has the forbidden sign 403, maybe I have to spend more time in here choosing a larger word list, a larger list of folders and files. At the end of the day, everybody will agree that they are hiding something. There is something there. It's a matter of finding that. If you didn't, you should move on. Now, it comes to 404, it's also a sign like this is not there, this is not found. I don't consider it like a trigger to investigate more in that particular subdomain. When it's 403 or 401, like, okay, this is something that I have to spend more time on it. But that doesn't mean like if you don't find anything that, okay, I will move on. Maybe in another place, the same word list or the same methodology will work. So you have to know like when to stop. Some people, they just stay for 1 day or 2 days on a subdomain. Will At the end of the day, it will have nothing, maybe. You don't have to do that. Know that, okay, I did what I can. I did what I should do at that certain level. If I didn't find any bugs, move on to another place.
How
I
much
like
time do you
that.
spend on Recon or OSINT? Is it like 50-50 time-wise when it comes to
Now, let's be honest about that. At my time, when I started in Bug Bounty in 2017, we all knew about only sublister to doing the subdomains reconnaissance. And I believe Franz from
Yep,
Sweden,
yep,
Franz Rosen,
yep,
he
yep.
was talking about a tool called NockPy.
Some
NockPy.
okay.
At that time, we had only those. It was a lot of manual thing. It was taking a lot of time. Currently, I assume 90% of the bug bounty hunters are automating this. If
Mhm,
they are not automating it already, there is a lot of automation frameworks available,
mhm,
free ones and paid ones.
yep,
So me personally, I don't think Recon like taking a lot of time for me. Like I have my own automation.
yep,
I'm just giving the target. It will gather the subdomains. It will do the basic file and folders brute forcing. It will gather the technologies, like this is Adobe, this is
mhm,
PHP, this is Java. Regardless, it will give you the full picture.
mhm,
Some others integrated the screenshotting thing, like to have a screenshots.
yep,
No one will tell you now I'm spending like a day in Recon. Actually, it's a free tools available. You can do that, and you can also play with it, make it working like what you want, adding
exactly.
another script. You can have a group of bash scripts or Python scripts doing this job for you. So it doesn't take a lot of time for me. This is an added value. Before it was taking like 4 hours or 5 hours. Now it maybe 30 minutes, 45
Mhm,
minutes. That gives you time to focus on the application or focus on the hacking. Recon is not hacking at the end of the day. You are just gathering information. You are getting more time for yourself to investigate these subdomains, services, applications.
mhm.
I guess now it takes more time to go through all the results that you have from your recon tools. Previously,
If
it took
you
like
have a big problem,
hours.
yeah, big program, yeah.
Yeah. Earlier, it took
Maybe the
hours
first time,
to look
Joachim, like
into.
Joachim, you will have this for the first time. Like, Yahoo is a very big domain. They have
Yeah.
thousands of subdomains. There is a reason why Doggy G is successful there. There is a reason why Nathaniel Nafi is successful there. They spent the first maybe month or 2 months like taking the full picture, understanding how these subdomains are getting named. Later
Mhm,
on, later on, this is for you something like you already did your lesson. You studied everything, you understood everything. It will not be hard for you in the future when you are working on that. You will be easily knowing, okay, this is a new subdomain, okay, this is a new functionality. That's why most successful bug bounty hunters, you will not find them like except today is a new, like this is a monster. The other ones, they are focused on a few number of programs.
Yeah.
They get to learn to know the
Was hard
company.
at the beginning. It was hard at the beginning to understand, to gather all the data. But when you study it, when you're having a good framework or a good GUI, later on, it's just, okay, this is something new happening here. This is a new subdomain. This is a new functionality. That's how it become easier. But any person, he will have to have some hard time in the initial steps of hacking on a program. For you, as an example, Visma, for me, I will say that I remember the domain Rickery. Rickery
Yeah.
dot,
Yeah.
for a new invite, someone that was invited new to Rickery, when he open Rickery, he will find just maybe a forbidden
Yeah.
or a login page. It's a dead end for anyone. Even if you do brute forcing for files and folders, you guys can relate. Like the endpoints after rickery.visma.com, if I remember, it's a company names in Finland, your customers.
Yeah.
Those are names that you will never find in any word list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Simply, it was a dead end, but with some dorking, some Google dorking, some DuckDuckGo dorking. Okay, you started to find some endpoint, some entry points, let's say. You don't look at that as a customer, you look at it as a hacker, as an entry point. So for me, I said, okay, this is a customer, this is a customer, this is a customer. And I'm talking about my story with Visma. How I reached like the third, I was number 3 for a certain period of time on that program. When I saw this, what I did, this is why the hacker has to have like to think out of the box. I grabbed all companies from Alexa that working in Finland, the names of the companies. I got this list, I played with this list, and I used it as a word list to do the directory search, the brute
Yeah.
force. I found myself, even though that I was like, I wasn't invited to Visma when it was a fresh, it was already had a lot of researchers, and at that time you had guys one RCE in Java faces,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken,
And
one
one
Finnish guy,
SQL. Yeah. And
yeah,
one SQL injection as well. Yeah.
and one actual injection, and you already had a lot of bugs reported. Still, I was reaching places no one other touched, just because I had to spend some time to think about how I should approach this application. So finding a bug can be easy sometimes if you have your own plan, your own methodology for each target.
Mhm. So another question from the chat here. So how to bring more Arabic people or the Arabic community to bug bounty platforms like HackerOne and BugCrowd?
Now, this is specific for our Arabic world. Actually, like if you do the statistic to see people on HackerOne and BugCrowd, mainly you will find people Arabic from Egypt, and lately there's some unique people from my country. Not more than your fingers, like not more than 10 or something.
Mhm.
Egypt, they have really good security researchers. But if we are talking about Arabic people in specific, I believe Saudi Arabia, they have their own platform similar
Mhm.
to HackerOne, to BugCrowd, dedicated for their government sites, for their police sites. I believe we still need time, but at maybe 4 or 3 years back, people in my region, they didn't know about bug bounty.
Mhm.
Now they are getting involved, bug bounty getting popular, and let's be honest, money is a main factor in that. People are looking at that. Okay, like a senior engineer in my country and similar countries, they will get. I'm senior. I'm talking about 5 years experience or 6 years experience. The maximum salary he will get in a month is $1,000, $800, and what's funny about us in Middle East, like we don't have the quality of Europe when it comes to building and roads and this stuff, but the expenses, it's like you are a European guy, you know,
Yeah.
our expenses are high. So now people are okay looking at this thing as a second source of income. So I believe like you will be hearing in the future about more Arabic bug bounty hunters. There's some few that I taught. I used to manage them in the business, in the work. Like I told them about bug bounty. They started to learn, and maybe there is two or three of them are a successful bug bounty hunters now.
And of course, you are also a great inspiration for many of them, I believe.
Yes, but I'm keeping it a low profile. You know, in social media, my Facebook is full of bullshit. You know, these weird YouTube videos and this stuff. I'm only on Twitter when it comes
Mhm.
to bug bounty. Sometimes on LinkedIn,
Yep.
but the closest people, like when I'm working in a company and I see some talents, like on the people I manage, I approach them in a a silent way. Okay, I can tell you something. You should invest your time in this thing.
Mhm.
My target is not for them to make money. For sure, I would love for them to make money, but it's a way also when you are managing a group of people, it's a way to encourage people to be more proactive, to have more skills. And at the end of the day, it's added value for you as a manager. They will be able to deliver the job. They will be able to deliver the tasks,
Yeah.
even the
It's
basics.
mentoring.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
penetration testing, as an example. I'm not talking about web in general, penetration testing. When you are a SOC manager or a security manager, for sure, you will have some clients that they will be asking for a penetration testing. Okay, I'm the experienced guy here, but I don't want to keep doing that. Like, I want to do that on a certain level when my employee reach a dead end. Okay, I will give the added value. So you invest some time on these guys. Okay, go do this and do that. You already know that if you go for like 1 hour, you will get the remote code execution on that client. You already know that. But okay, you want them to spend some time to read, to understand, and you want them to do that from their own. You don't want to give this thing. At that period of time, okay, these guys got experience. They knew how to use Google, how to look for this specific functionality. That's the added value. Later on, you don't know. Maybe he will leave your company. He will go to other place, but he will never say, "I had a bad manager." He will say, "Okay, he contributed in that. He helped me to become that person."
I like that. I get chills. That's the words of a mentor right there. So I don't know if you know this, but in Finland, for example, we have these meetups where we meet other individuals who are maybe just interested in security, or just in general, just interested in security, or they're already working with security. And we have meetups, like we used to have once a month before Corona, and we used to just have, for example, two talks by two professionals, and just have the talk and learn from each other. And this has been very successful, and a lot of new talents have really enjoyed it because they get to hear from
This
guys that are
this
more experienced.
this happened in my country. Let's say in my country, maybe only on 2019. We have B-sides
Mhm.
Yeah.
besides Jordan.
Yep, yep.
Like we are in when some people inviting security researchers or something. We have a DEFCON group. Maybe it's also fresh. And all of this happened in 2019. But you know, in this Middle East and in other countries, still we have this mentality. Our people have this mentality. Okay, hacking is bad, or hacking can make you go to prison, or hacking will make trouble with the government or something. It's not still like Europe, but still we are doing this. Like me and other fellows like me, we are trying to make this an acceptable thing. We are trying to make some small talks like that. It's happening, not like Europe, not like Finland, but people now are starting to understand security is not hacking.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity is not only just about people with masks and doing hacking, it's about protecting assets, protecting companies. This is like the
Yeah.
idea you have to deliver.
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned that is because I could see you having a small community or a small meetup where you know, have people from your country presenting something related to security and then sharing it with everyone else and then having, them ask questions and teaching them. So, I'm just throwing it out there for an idea for you maybe to consider in the future.
We are doing this because the main factor in this is fear. Like, I know, like maybe I didn't meet these people, but I know that we have a skilled persons in our country, skilled people, but they are doing the bad things. Like if you, I'm one of the generation that used, I believe you guys know this guy, this site. It's called zone-h.org.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever heard about it. This is the main site for defacements globally.
Yeah.
Like if you go to zone-h.org and search for .fi, if this is your domains in Finland, you will find all the defacements. People still thinking, okay, I have to be lay low. No one knows about me. No one knows about my name. Just doing defacements, hacking, this stuff. The fear, they are like, okay, if I say I'm doing this, they will take me to prison or they will let me pay some fine or something. We are trying to make this more acceptable for people because we know we have a skilled people that they don't have a social media, they don't speak publicly, but we know they have skills and we can use these skills for our country, for our big organizations, our big companies. And it's happening, but it's happening in slow motion, let's say, not as we are expecting.
Yeah.
You need the country support, by the way, like you need the country support in this stuff. It's not only about just people. You need the country to support these talents, to support this stuff. This is what we lack generally in the Arab world. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we lack skills. We have a lot of skills.
So I think a lot of people are asking about your Google dorking and GitHub dorking. Do you have any tips for the people who are interested in dorking stuff?
For Google, it's the basic dorking. I don't use black magic. It's the same Google dorking. I'm just looking for the sites, for their extensions, for a specific file. And for the GitHub, in order not to waste this stream for non-logical thing, I already have a full video about how I'm making the GitHub stuff. Maybe
Mm.
in my video, I focused on credentials, on secrets, on tokens later on. And what I can add here in this stream, that GitHub is not only for passwords, it's not only for credentials. It's very helpful for you for to gather more endpoints, more entry points for you to hack. It's good for you for subdomain enumeration. Some other fellows on Twitter, they made the tools specifically gather subdomains from GitHub. Maybe I don't think Subfinder have that. I don't believe AMAS have that. Sublister doesn't have that. They made this something. So GitHub is not only about the credentials. Mainly, it's a source of credentials for sure, but you can use it for endpoints and for subdomains. Focus on this stuff also. This is also can get you in places others that they cannot do it because you are taking the information from its source. You are doing a scan on an API host or something, subdomain for some company. Maybe people with experience will understand the word lists available on GitHub, and they don't always cover what your needs. Some companies, they have their own name conventions. If we are talking about Visma, I gave my example that the customers, no word list will find that. So when you are understanding the customer you are looking for, if you find a dead end, go to GitHub. The information coming for you are not coming from someone strange. It's coming from a developer in that company. Someone who is building that site or building that services, he will give you the full endpoint, maybe like to the fourth level of paths, not only the first path. He will give you the information ready, and if he is very generous, he will give you also the API key, which is happens a lot. If he is careless, he will give you the username and password and make your life more happier. So just be wise when you are looking, but GitHub is a gold mine. GitHub is a gold mine for everything.
Yeah. So you've had all kinds of different jobs in the IT security field and the IT field in general. What in the IT or security field are you most interested in currently?
I let's say I was laid off from my latest job in March when the Corona start. I believe this is the most uh, beautiful job I had. I was a security architect. The company is one of our country biggest internet service providers. They wanted to give managed cloud services and managed security services. So this was the first time I was involved in the architecture, like choosing the right products when it comes to SIM solutions, EDRs, sandboxing, zero-day detection, and choosing the products that can fit to customers, that can be sold as a managed services. I believe the consultation part, my experience helped in that, because when it comes to EDRs, I worked on multiple products. And when it comes to SIM solutions, I worked on multiple products also. So that was the time where I can put my consultation in place. This product is good, this product is bad. This can be sold to our customers. Let's say this, you can sell this to banks, but this can be sold to a small businesses. They can pay this, the other people can pay that. So this is the role that I enjoyed the most, because this is where my experience come in place. And also you were going to customers, giving your consultation. We are trying to build our security. What do you suggest? We have this and we have that. So you give your opinion. And the most interesting thing was SOC assessments, which means a lot of companies having a security operations center. I used to manage one, managing a team, and I was the security operations center manager. So one interesting part of my role was to go to companies or customers that they already have their own SOC as an incident handling forensics manager, and they are asking for a second eye opinion on that SOC. Was interesting, like going and doing the assessment. Okay, you are missing this thing, you are missing that thing, you should improve from that part, you should do this, you should do that. It was a really good role. I finished in March. We were laid off because of the pandemic thing. You cannot blame the companies, they are financially getting a hard time. Currently I'm negotiating with some people in a role that goes in the dev security operation. Like I will be engaging with the development people before they are shipping their applications. I will be the central point to approve this or doesn't approve this. It's related to my knowledge, and also it's an added value for me to understand a little bit of programming or how developers work. I'm not a coder, maybe Bash or a little bit of Python. This role will be an added value for me. I'm selective for my roles. Like if I'm going to a place and I'm not getting more information, if I'm not learning something new, I will not accept that job. I will stay home.
Is there a particular moment or memory in your career so far that stands out?
As a bug bounty hunter or as a security?
Yeah, you can pick.
As a bug bounty hunter, I believe it's most people know that it's the bug that I found in Snapchat, the token thing, because
Mm.
I had no fucking clue what I was reporting. Like, I just found a token for a domain that I felt I had this assessment. This is wrong. That was the initial assessment that this shouldn't be public, but I didn't know about GitHub, that GitHub had an enterprise solution that companies use. I didn't know that. If I knew that, maybe I would have spent some time doing a proper POC. But I just thought this is something wrong. It shouldn't be public. When I reported it as low. And I was like saying in my report, maybe this is informative or something. So when you see this turn out from low to critical, from expecting maybe 10 points in HackerOne to $15,000, that was a wow moment for me in bug bounty. In my career, I believe the point that where I feel proud, for me personally, I'm a person that I like to learn. I don't I don't have that ego. Okay, I'm working since 10 years or 9 years. I'm always eager to learn. The proud moment for me is when I saw my team, the people that I used to manage, that they knew nothing about security. They didn't even know about ports,
Yeah.
80 ports, they knew nothing. They were fresh graduates. I gave them the proper training. I challenged them. I've put them in a very embarrassing places for them to show off. So now I look at these people, they are working in a very respected companies in my country, in a very big companies. Some of them are getting a senior levels. They are special in these places, like every place you go, this guy is special. This is where I feel proud. Like when the efforts that I spent on those guys wasn't for nothing.
Mhm.
They proved it and now they are a successful people.
Spoken like a true manager.
Management is hard, but
Yes.
also this is something that comes of your own experience. If your own manager was bad, you will be a bad manager. Me personally, I had the best manager in the planet. He was my friend. He was supporting. If I make a mistake I was working, by the way, for a very big logistics company. I don't know if it's known in Europe. It's Aramex, called Aramex. Maybe in Middle East and Asia, it's known. It's a very big
Mm.
company. I used to make mistakes, a very big ones. My manager was like, okay, in front of the other people, in front of his management, he was taking the shots. He will blame me and him personally. He will do whatever he wants between me and him, but he never embarrassed me. He never he was always encouraging me. So this is what you get, because what you want to happen to you, you do this, you reflect this on your work. I had a good manager, so I have to be a good manager. What he used to do for me, I will have to do the same for the others. If I had a bad manager, maybe I will be this guy that no one like. So
Yeah.
it depends, like what you make. I believe what good you make, it will reflect back. What goes around comes around, as they say.
Mm. You also had a big impact on the security community with your contributions and all your blog posts, etc. How does it make you feel being transparent and teaching others?
I think because I came from place where I was only depending on my own salary, and when I started working on your program, and when I started to have the knowledge about Bug Crowd and HackerOne and doing the hacking, I felt it make a difference. When I'm sharing the knowledge and making other people making money, it make a difference, because you don't know how other people are live. Maybe you can consider yourself, okay, I'm living good. I'm good. I'm having a work. I can cover my expenses. I'm not a rich person, but I can cover. Some people, I think I cannot generalize. Maybe some people, they don't have the money to bring food. It happens. Some people are clever, but their parents cannot afford to put them in universities to complete their studying or learning. So when you share an information that can impact others and can make these people money, they can change their lives. It doesn't matter if these people having the money to bring a car or to bring a house. Maybe he's helping his mother, maybe he's helping his family, maybe that's the point of bug bounty of this community. We are not a secret community. Me personally, when I started bug bounty, I knew nothing. But those good people who used to share their blogs, they used to to share some tips on Twitter and Reddit and these sites. They helped me. Even program managers like you and others, they helped me. The platform owners, like when you are speaking about HackerOne, when you are speaking about Bug Crowd, those people in the management are a very good people. Like they are communicating with people on Twitter. They are answering some questions. So when I share something, first of all, this is to help people to make money. Second thing, I do know and 100% sure I'm not doing a black magic. If I'm not sharing this, maybe after 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, someone else will share it. Like GitHub thing. I'm specialized in GitHub for most of the people. Like they know that. But for me, the GitHub thing, I started working GitHub after listening for an interview with a good security researcher. His name is Justin Kennedy. He used to do with Pity, the security researcher in Shopify.
Yeah.
He was actually the first one who started to make streams about bug bounty, and he was the initial one. I remember Peter. He had an interview with Justin. Justin just throws this thing. Okay, I reported a P1 on Bug Crowd. It was a GitHub credentials leakage. This is the place where I knew about GitHub. I didn't use GitHub at all in my life. And after that, okay, I invested some time. I had to work to understand what GitHub is used for, how people do mistakes there. Then I shared my knowledge in a full video where I shared everything. I didn't keep anything for me. Later on, okay, people are having success with that. They are not impacting me. Okay, maybe they are having a private programs that I'm not invited to. You are not impacting me. You are making money. You are happy. I'm also making money. I'm also happy. That's how I think about it. There is nothing to hide. It's not a black magic. Even the very, very big vulnerabilities that appears, or if you look at the latest 0 days for the Citrix, for the F5, for the ASA Cisco, it's a simple things like anyone can find that. So when you look at people making $10,000 or $15,000, don't think like he's doing some black magic and he's doing this and doing that, and then he pivoted internally. And me personally,
Yeah.
I said in Ben stream, I got a 20K, like 21K from PayPal for just bypassing an SSO, for just doing a proper brute forcing for a files and folders. I found an endpoints that are not covered by the SSO, a login page actually, that are not covered by the SSO. Do a login with the default credentials, bingo, you
Yeah.
are in. $21,000. So don't get fooled like with these numbers. Even the top hunters, some people are doing it, like some researches. There are some people doing like some good researches, but not all bug bounty hunters are that. Like they just go for the basics. What if I do this? What if I do that? This entry point accepts only letters. What if I put an array? What if I put a null byte? It's a try and error thing.
Yeah.
Even life, it's a try and error. Try and error. When you go and buy a car,
But
before you buy a car, they give you a test drive. You go and drive this car. Okay, I liked it. I didn't. It has this thing. It's a try and error thing.
I also have a kind of like a follow up question because you said you don't use black magic, but I'm not sure if you're willing to talk about this, but we did some background research on you and we saw that you reported some stuff to Pornhub. And let me tell you, I've tried to look at Pornhub and there is no way I can do any research on there because I get distracted. So there must be some black magic involved in that.
Well, actually, it's only one bug, but let's say the truth. These guys are having the best swags ever.
Yeah.
Such company, they are doing a good marketing. I reported only maybe one bug. Maybe if you look in my activity in HackerOne,
One
it's
Yeah, I
only
think
one
activity
bug.
was
Yeah,
accepted
yeah, one
and
bug
four
for
that was
Pornhub.
closed.
It was some directory listing on one of their subdomains. I didn't get paid by the way for that,
no,
but they
but
sent me swag.
yeah,
And the funny story about that, this report maybe 4 years back, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
that's correct.
4 years back, it's the only report. So they didn't pay money. They sent swag. At that time, it was a hat that has Pornhub and this weird stuff that they are writing. The funny fact, this is the only time I sent a report for Pornhub. Those guys are good to a level that every year they are sending me a new swags on the address that I had in HackerOne. So I reported only one bug in 2006. I don't know if it's a mistake or something in their logistics. I'm getting every year, technically every year, a new swag. Whether
nice.
if it's a t-shirt, a hat, a logos, but no, guys, this is something normal for me, for Joaquim, for any person. No one can hack on Pornhub unless he's, I don't know,
A eunuch, maybe, or
dumb or
something.
drunk. I don't know. No one can hack there. People are finding some good stuff there, by the way. But okay, you have another target. So why should you have this stress and work on Pornhub? There is other sites.
I think the only way I could do that is if I had like a burp extension or something where it removes all the pictures and videos.
The bad thing about Pornhub, even if you don't want to open it, the website, and start doing the burp thing and finding bugs like others did. Let's say if I will do my own method, go to GitHub as an example. What you will find in GitHub, you will find in GitHub a passwords for the premium accounts on Pornhub. So actually, that doesn't impact the company, but it will be helpful for others to have a premium free accounts.
Yeah, they might need it. They might be lonely. Who
Some people
knows?
would, like in COVID-19, it was free. So those guys know
Yeah,
how to know, they know how to do marketing very well.
So
yeah.
That's my job.
do you have any favorite company or program, or how do you go about selecting bug bounty programs?
In the beginning, it wasn't about programs. It was just about practicing, engaging with these people, knowing mainly like what I look for in a program is how much they pay now at that period of time, how much they pay, and their time of response. Like I don't like to send a company that will respond back after 1 month back. My favorite program currently it's PayPal.
Mhm.
PayPal is like I remember when I started Bug Bounty, maybe I told you that earlier. My first bug was for Facebook for some information disclosure thing. Then I got to know about Bug Crowd because they sent the payments through Bug Crowd. Then I realized about HackerOne from the Uber bug, but I didn't actually sign up for Bug Crowd and HackerOne. PayPal had their own external program like Facebook. So I reported one bug at that time and it got paid well. Then I forgot about them. I joined Bugcrowd, joined HackerOne, started reporting here and there until PayPal joined HackerOne. Those guys are professional. First of all, like I spent a lot of time on the attack surface. I understood how they work for their services. I personally use PayPal for my
Mm.
own, so I understand how they work, what they do, what they offer. So I tried the first time, the second time. Those guys are taking security in a very good way. Like, I remember reporting something, I thought it's something medium, but they do the assessment. It's not something weird if you report something to PayPal medium and some way it turned to critical. Some other bug bounty programs, when you submit something, technically for them it's high, but since you reported it as low, they will pay you as low. Those guys are professional. They do the right assessment. And they pay you fairly. And for me personally, this is something that I truly understand as an application. As PayPal is a group of companies. They have Venmo, they have Braintree, but this is a suggestion I give for any person. If you want to hack on a very good program, it's PayPal. They appreciate if you are reporting something good. They do appreciate, and it's a surprise when it comes to bounties, and they pay well, by the way. Like, for critical, it's from 20,000 to 30,000.
That's really
For
nice.
exceptional reports, it might be more.
Yeah.
Like, they might give bonus. So this is my favorite program currently. I go through it's maximum 7 or 8 programs in general in BugCrowd and HackerOne. The programs that I know, that I understand, that I hacked on before, but my favorite is PayPal, yes.
Cool.
So time is actually running out, but I guess we can continue a few more minutes if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Joachim, do we have any more questions?
I think you can ask the next question.
Yeah, so you've been talking about that you have been like a mentor and inspiration for many younger hackers. But have you had any mentors or inspirations yourself? Like, I know you were talking about Ben from Nahamsec before. Is there anyone else that you see as inspirations for you?
When you look at this, it's not about. I believe it will not be fair to give some name. Like, a lot of people, whoever shares an information with you is someone that you should respect, whoever that was. For me personally, when I started the bug bounty, there were few people who had blogs or helped me with that. I will never forget Sino on Twitter. He's a known bug bounty hunter. This guy helped a lot, helped me and helped others. Ben, before starting doing streams, his blog was a reference for me. Because if you notice in my activity, at a period of time, I was focusing on Yahoo, on Yahoo bug bounty program. He had a lot of stuff. So I cannot name a role model. There is no role model because this is an open area. Everybody is sharing information. Whoever share information with you is someone that you should respect. Lately, I believe Stock is someone that I really, really respect a lot. Because I cannot compare myself to him, but he used to be a penetration tester. He worked for almost 12 or 13 years. He has a vast experience. Out of nowhere, you started to see Stock when he was invited to an event in HackerOne. And generally, every person that stream lately, including Joachim, Ben, Stock, the cyber mentor. There is a girl that was being bullied lately. Her name is Farah from India.
Yep, I saw the interview. Really good.
Those people are the top list for me because I know what goes in the background for you to make a video, to make a stream, to share it with others. People think it's just opening a camera, opening a mic, okay, record this. But in the background, some people are doing some hard work to give you this 5 minutes or 10 minutes video for you to learn. Whoever giving, let's say generally, whoever giving information, a new information and helping others to become successful, this is someone that I look for. You don't have to to pick names. A lot of good people are in this community.
Very good answer.
Yeah, and I think on that note, I think we can end because that was a perfect answer. So thank you everyone for joining the stream, and see you next time. This will be also available on YouTube later, so we'll upload it there as well. So if someone wants to watch some earlier stuff on the stream where you didn't catch us, then you can do that later on. So thank you everyone. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys for your time, and I'm looking forward one day to visit Finland and meet you in person.
For sure.
Thank you.